So I ask you, whose consciousness are you carrying around in you this day to create you? Creating your reality of? Whose consciousness is programming you? What consciousness are you creatively destroying or creating? Or pruning your garden are you with your words that come forth from the immaculate conception of you? Or will you listen to your words and not be conquered by them? Or are you only conquered by others' words that you have given credence to, adherence to, power over you, that you then conquer yourself with because you limit you to the creation of those words and their images? What images are you living by this day, oh friend? Will you have coffee with me and talk about these things? Or will you be willing to create a new you? A you that thinks for yourself intently, diligently, pondering, coming into your garden to surmise the summation of all of your limitations, not, but to create a new door of opportunity. Pardon me. What will you create this day? Whose words are you carrying not to completion anymore? To submit to death? Or a way of life that just gives you a concretized idea of brittleness that they call joy? Or are you experiencing joy? Will you be the joy bird, the love bird? Will you fly? Are you an angel? Were you ever? What are you willing to learn? That you have no limitations? That you're the creator of the creator? Creating it in your image no longer, will you? Or a male image either? Whose consciousness is bearing down upon you to give you war in your kingdom? The kingdom of God that resides between your ears. In two halves of your brain. You have a gap between your brain. What's that do? Why does that exist? What's the purpose of the gap? What's the purpose of the imagery that our words create? Or how do we work? Or were we programmed to work this way? How did the genes of our genetics come into being, and what programmed them? And how many genes do you have? I have 3 or 4 pair. So how many chromosomes? Or what's your DNA like? Or can you imagine editing it? Not in some lab somewhere, What if you do it with your mind? That's right here. Your whole heart being involved. Your motives too. And your servitude. What will you serve no more? The words of another? Will you no more bow down and worship the words of another? Will you learn from them? Will you learn what gives you your power back? Your power. Power. Power to do things, to be things, to invent things, to create things, to be somebody else, or to be the real you that is not subject to this world, a 3D world. What are you willing to have? What are you willing to enjoy? Or must you hold on to the beliefs that you have nurtured, that you have cradled in you, and that you have fostered conception and a full growth of, that have only limited you? Why are you not coming into your own mind to seek that which has been given you, that you are? The genetics of Christ, a completion modeled for you, the completed man who supposedly addressed himself, or somebody addressed as simply son of man, daughter of man, stressing his commonness, stressing his humanity, stressing that there is no gap between him, Jesus, and you. Everything he did, you can do. That's my premise, or is that what I've been told? Or is that what my heart has told me, or my mind? Or the vision of a new heaven and a new earth? Are you willing to imagine operating, not needing syllables? Can you imagine the cosmos opening up to you and communicating with beings on other planets? I can. I suggest you did. You were there at the creation of many planets, or God, or is deity something we invented a word of to try to describe something that we don't understand, or of a higher intelligence, or mystery? I make leaders, not. I invite you to be them, to be you, the real leadership of you, and come out of your servitude of you and your servitude of other people's words and your exaltation of what you think their meanings are that limit you. I ask you to operate in your power and heal this. Heal people, heal you. Heal the lamb, you first. Will you love each other? Will you love you? Will you be a leader? Are you willing to be a leader, no matter what anyone has told you? No matter what your proclivity is. Your blood type, your DNA, your personality type. What is limiting you no more to operate in this globally, cosmically, throughout the heavens? Why limit yourself to one world or the world of one person's words or a concretized idea that makes you stagnant and serve it, the image of? Come out of your image, your imagery, your sorcery, and be your source for truth. Because all knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you have here between your ears. Or do you have access to all God? All that God is, all gods are? Did Jesus not say, ye are gods? And believe me, there's no apostrophe there. You are God material. That's what you're using to be human. That's what you're using to create the separation and the collusion with other people, that you attribute credibility to them over you. What is your banner right here? Mine is, I love you. What are you treating people with when you come in contact with your husband, your wife, your friend, your son, your daughter, your relatives of other colors, nations, tribes, and tongues? Will you not be afraid of the aliens? Will you not be afraid of the lion in the streets? Will you not be afraid of death? Or can nothing hurt you? Can you drink any deadly thing and it won't consume you? What consumes you, O God, that you should fall from grace and think you're human? Why have you belittled yourself? Why do you disparage each other? Why do you have war going on within your kingdom? You have the power, authority, and blessing to quell the war and come into your creativity and lead you out of hell and into heaven. For the garden of creativity, the Garden of Eden, don't you know anything about the great allegory, is right here. And the revelation of the beast that takes you from you, robs you of your own power, and creates a consciousness that you live in, that you adore, that you fabricate and you dress up, and you educate, and you bow down to. All of that now is coming to an end? Or what will you marriage no more the process of? The marriage supper of the Lamb? Hope they serve coffee. The marriage supper of the Lamb. What imagery. The marriage supper of the Lamb to God. Do you marry God? I suggest you marry Or do you become joined again in one consciousness to the real you that created you, that you operate now without supposition and hypotheses that rob your kingdom from you? You take authority over them. You mature. You must mature. You must come into your kingdom to heal this. And it resides between your ears and your consciousness. So what consciousness will you collude with no more? But create the new you, so that you quell the war in heaven that's between your ears, so that you experience PTSD no more. What are you doing with your mental faculties? Your physical prowess? What are you willing to adore no more? That which keeps you separate from you, the real you, the cosmic you, the original you, the spirit of you, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of God Almighty, the Most High. Boy, we sure can't come up with some great terms to disparage ourselves or create gappery when no gap exists. I create leaders, not. I make leaders, not. I invite you to your leadership through the throne of one, your throne room, where you listen to you, where you begin to understand your power and consider it. That you will no longer expect somebody else to come put a robe of righteousness on you. It's been so cold in Eureka, I think it's like 8 degrees now. What robe will you put on? What robe will you wear? What consciousness will you seek to no more keep you out of your kingdom? Will you put on the robe of light? Will you create light? Do you create light? Will you create light? When you speak, what's going off? What's coming on up here? What imagery do you no more possess? Or that possesses you? What words will no longer create your reality, your limitations, your dilatory response, your damaging report of you to you? The kingdom of God is right here. So are you the reporters that come back and report to your consciousness? We can't go in there. We're like grasshoppers. We don't know anything about editing DNA, genes, or the genes of God, or the cosmic races. We can't conquer them. Or do we want to conquer them? Or do we want to spread the word of light, or the light of the word, that we were all one? What are you willing to no longer fear? Your ability, your speech, your power, your grace, the magnitude of your charm? Will you walk in leadership? Will it change your life? Will you change your life? Will you no longer hold on to this the way it's been? Will you create a new heaven and earth with me? Being me? My word of? My word releases your word. If it does what it's intended to do, to be, the consciousness that creates the creator again, that is you, all one. Have I explained anything? Does it have any worth, any value? In the hours and the years that I spent alone, seeking God in solitude, surrendering to write, surrendering to speak, surrendering to make videos. Now, once again, surrendering to speak, make videos, and open my heart and share what's been given to me and what I am. I want you to be what you are, the limitless, and invest in you. The time it takes, the effort, the curriculum. Will you come through the curriculum that I've been given? I have been given a curriculum. The first 2,400 messages after I began writing these downloads simply became database 1. 2,400 messages became lessons, the lessons that form the curriculum of the school to help you see you. And fret not about what you don't understand, what you don't know, and what you have been taught to fear. I suggest you become fearless. You're not worried about others' consciousness, nor the lion that they see in the streets that may devour them. Don't let it devour you. Don't let their consciousness control you, no matter how many degrees they have or what robes they wear, or how many titles they assert that authorizes them to be over you. Come into your own authority and bless you. Be the real you. Understand this map, the globe, the cosmos, how things work. Will neurons no more farm you, your power? Or will you change the neuronic pathways and be the light of the world? Will your word be a lamp unto your path? I pray so. The word that comes through you, the word that originates in you, your consciousness of. That's why I exist. That's why I present these words. Come into your power, grace, and glory. You're the beautiful one, the majestic. And there is no other. There's only one. We are all it, with our brethren and sisterin, our brothers and sisters throughout the cosmos. Think it not strange what you learn this day and forevermore. Be one. Come out of consumerism. Consume not the words of others that create you in their image to be separate from God, whatever you have called it. Let no divisiveness reign in your brain. Walk across the water, walk across the gap. Speak to the storm. That is right within you. Take your rightful place. Quell the riots between your words, the imagery, the brutality that you have used against you and each other. I train leaders. I offer leadership. I have a doctorate in leadership. But that's not my source. My source of power is my heart. My heart that resides right here. For the idea in a Bible verse said the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. I suggest to you, what's given there is the idea. What's in the head? The consciousness. Where's your consciousness? Or is it all throughout your body, your spirit? Or is your body using your spirit? Ask a lot of questions, and you will have the answers. You'll have a lot more questions because you are the judge of you. You will judge the words. You will judge what words you let into your kingdom and destroyed your crops or nourished them and flourished them. Bring forth your leadership this day. O God, O woman, O leader, O light be. Men and women of every nature, of every nation, tribe, and tongue. That's my message. That's why I exist. This is why I live. This is why I'm starting a school. I recorded, 30-something videos in the last few weeks, sharing my heart, opening my heart to you, for you to leadership be, coming out of the servantship of other. Lead, stand, arise. In the love of one this day. I love you. I go now. Valentine's Day tomorrow. Will you be my Valentine? My lover? Will you woo me? Or will I woo you? Or do we have a relationship that we come into at the table of one with the original us? What if the concept of what some people call a twin flame is not molecular at all? It's the joining. What if it's the marriage supper of the Lamb, where you rejoin, you come back to the original you, to be it without separating you in a consciousness that creates the gap? Will the real revelation of you be revealed this day? I pray so to you. And that you will let you see that you are conquered by the beast no more. That's described in the book of Revelation in the Bible. And that you will resurrect a new consciousness, coming into and resulting in a new creation that is non-molecular. Because you were, but you create a new creation that can be seamless, non-molecular and molecular at the same time, by choice, intent, not driven by love, but led by love. Peace. I bow before you this day, and I love you. Increase your vocabulary, your knowledge of geography, geology, tectonic plates. What will God teach you, or what will your inner voice come forth with to complete the Christ in you? The knowledge of, the glory of God, that you won't reject it anymore. Will you walk in your power? As long as we are flesh laden with, will you increase in strength? Strength conditioning, strength classes. Will you engage you in the things that matter? What matters most to you, my friend? What matters most to me? That you become you? That I become me? That I walk in the path of I am? That we walk in the path of I am? To heal this, and be not afraid of our cosmic brethren, for we are not alone. We never were. And now things are going to be revealed. So audacious, so foreign from what we've been taught and limited ourselves with, that men's hearts will fail them for fear. Be not afraid. Walk in the authority of who you are. For your name is I am. Whether you capitalize it or not. Whether you use words to condition you and create your reality in a confidence that keeps you from being Christ, or whether you surrender to be the Christ in the one that you really are. Not separate from. With honor and glory besides. Do you walk through the valley of shadow of death? But that doesn't mean you succumb to it. Can you be victorious? Will you resurrect? Will you experience the resurrection? Out of the pit? Out of hell? Into heaven? Heaven is being who you are, separationless. For we are all one. And that's what matters to me. And I help you to know your power and walk in it. Commit to leadership? No. Commit to love and let love teach you internally, for the teacher is within. And my curriculum, the curriculum I've been given, I teach, you will meet the teacher in the words. As you begin to read the lessons and the messages that I've been given, those 2,400, lead you in a tailor-made, custom curriculum designed for you, one that you lead yourself through, and you will meet the teacher in the words of you that you interact with, that create a consciousness more beautiful than can ever be limited by the collusion of man. I go now. TheodoreCottingham.com. School of the 21st Century Christ. That's you, brother. That's you, sister. No matter what you came from, no matter what you thought you were going to. Maybe you're going to school. Maybe you're coming. Oh. It's a creator's school, a school of leadership, school of the 21st century Christ. And think not that it's easy or doesn't contain scholastic rigor. For you lay down your life to become the Christ. The real you. You give up your limitations. You give up your imagery of Christ, of God, of separation, and you come into a leadership where you're afraid no more of it. Be the fullness of your heart complete, a Christ that looks just like you. I honor you this day, Theodore Cottingham, in Eureka Springs for now. Where will I be tomorrow? Your city, in your heart. My words, your words. Let's not limit us anymore to the words of another. Be the original you. Thank you. Good day.